Hi, Stitchers. Welcome to Tatreez Talk, where we share conversations about Palestinian embroidery. I'm Amani here with my co-host Dina, chatting with talented embroiderers and artists, sharing their stories, inspirations, and the cultural significance behind their work.
On today's episode, we are chatting with Abeer, an urban designer and lifelong Tatreez enthusiast, using design as a way to connect with her Palestinian roots. She's also the founder of Taqa. Welcome to Tatreez Talk, Abeer. It's so lovely to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Lovely to see you both.
Yes, we're so
Yes.
excited to chat. I am very excited to chat about a number of things that you are working on. But before we dive into that, can you start us off by just sharing a little bit with our listeners about you and your family's connection to Palestine?
Yes, actually, my both my mother and father were born in Palestine. My mother is from Jaffa. My father is from Jerusalem. Um, but during 1948, my mother's family fled from Jaffa. She was born in Ramallah. My father, during 1968, he was outside Palestine, so he couldn't get to Palestine after that. So, unfortunately, my connection to Palestine was through the stories that my father and mothers told, and through the stories, of course, of all my family members, because Palestine was present throughout my childhood, through stories, through connections to the land, through people like relatives going to Palestine and coming from Palestine. So I really feel connected to Palestine, not because I'm Palestinian. It's because Palestine is like worthy of being connected to. Like the stories are so touching. Even when I was a child, I had this connection. It's not something that I developed as a grown up. And uh, Unfortunately, my father didn't visit Palestine. Maybe he visited in 1980. Okay, and that was it because he was opposed to going back to a land where all our uh, like uh, properties, land,
Hmm.
house are
Yeah,
not owned by us anymore. But hopefully, I have a plan to go visit Jerusalem soon, maybe
inshallah.
this April.
Oh,
Uh,
inshallah.
Inshallah, I look forward to that. Yeah.
Yeah, I also have not been back yet. So I'm excited to when once you go, we'll have to connect afterwards and hear about your experience. But I'm also curious to hear about, you talked about the stories about Palestine and the connection through your family. What was Tatreez's role in your life as a Palestinian, how did Tatreez show up in your family? And did anyone in your family stitch?
Yes, actually, yes. So many of my father's family, the Dajani family, because they like craft work and needlework, this is what I like. So naturally, we were drawn to Tatreez, of course. How did your question was about my journey? How did it start with Tatreez?
Yeah, like what was your connection with Tatreez, growing up?
As I told you, I like needlework. So when it came to doing like a project with needle and stitching, Tatreez was the thing that I went to. Okay, and seeing, of course, every Palestinian house has a Tatreez item, whether a cushion, a wall art, or a dress, anything.
Yeah.
So we had plenty of that. So I grew up seeing Tatreez around me, seeing the coordination of Tatreez colors that we are known for, like the reds and the magentas, and on a black background.
Hmm.
So yeah, this was natural. I didn't feel that it started at some point, okay, but it was present since I was a child. And when I thought of doing a project that involved like my love to design, okay, and fashion design, Tatriz was a no-brainer. So I immediately uh, uh, um, like started Taqa, which is s- like I want to say that Taqa is not energy. Taqa is the little window. Okay.
Mm,
I was searching for a name actually for my business. I don't like to call it a business. It's just a project of mine,
mm,
something
mm.
very like not if you say business, it's you feel it has like an economic
I understand. Yeah.
yes, economic aspect to it, but it's like a project. So when I started Ta'a, I thought of this name because it's a name or it's a word that's been used by older generations for the small window.
Mm,
Okay, they say Ta'a. So yes, I started Ta'a and my journey matured, let's say, in Tatreez because I started my research. I started connecting with other people who like Tatreez, and yes, and it's an ongoing experience. Okay, because it's something that's not easy and not too hard. Obviously, Tatris is easy, but not an easy thing to do because it's very sensitive to me, you know?
mm,
It's, I don't want to like tamper with something like Tatris. We are really proud of this legacy, you know, and we want to continue of doing something that's worthy of being called a Palestinian Tatreez.
Yeah, and I love the work that you do there. I didn't share at the beginning during the introduction, but the reason I got connected to Abeer is because I had come across your work years ago. I mean, I had found your Instagram profile. I cannot even remember how I came across it, and I remember that you had this one digital download for making your own. I think it was a smock dress, and it had this really beautiful Tatreez design, but you had them as like really big X's. So not the traditional like 12 count, 14 count, but more like skipping. So basically like an 8 count, I think, or like 6 count maybe. And I thought it was such a fun way to experiment with Tatreez in a way that still felt traditional. It was still, you know, the cypress trees and you still had some of the colors, but the X's were very big. And so I knew I wanted to do one, but it took me forever. I don't know why, but it took me like 2, 3 years just to like get convinced on for myself like the colors I wanted, the dress style that I wanted. And then I finally made it this year. And so I thought it was such a great opportunity to have you on the podcast since I have like this connection now with Ta'a. It's so funny. My husband is Iraqi and my Arabi is obviously not the best. And so I need to talk to more Palestinians because I said Taqa with the qaf and that's so Iraqi. But I like that you said it Taqa. We need to talk more, but Arabi. Anyways, I just really love that what you were doing. So I was curious if you could like maybe give us a journey on how Ta'a has evolved over time because I think it's kind you guys have a new direction go coming soon. How did it start for you when you were thinking about it, and how has it changed as you've gotten more, I guess, entrenched in the Tatriz world and all of the things?
Hmm. The thing is that Ta'a for me is like my side project. Okay. So I can't say it started somewhere and now reached another place. It's just it started and evolved and stayed the way it started. You know, whenever I try or whenever I launch a new season, let's say, or a new collection, okay, this is my experimentation of understanding uh, how would I apply Tatriz to everyday clothes.
hmm
It's an ongoing try and error, let's say, okay, of producing Palestinian garments that you can say, yes, it has a Palestinian, you know that it's Palestinian when you look at it. Okay, this is my intention at least. You know that it's Palestinian when you look at it, but on the other hand, you can wear it not as like a traditional costume. You can wear it in everyday life. okay,
Hmm.
and not like speak loudly or announce that it's Palestinian, but have it as an item. So when I started Da'a, it was a start for me in fashion design as well, like a start for me on more than one thing. Okay, and they both went together. So now that I've reached the place that I've reached to now, Ta'a is like I wanted to be like still an experimentation because I did not reach where I want to be quite honest with you, with the brand. Okay. Uh, but you've mentioned that, and I've mentioned to you that I have another, like a small project within Ta'a, which is I want to share the digital library that I have now that I accumulated over the years because I started in 2017. And when I started, I referred to existing Palestinian tombs. Okay, I did not invent like the motif or the
Yeah.
arrangement of motifs because I thought it's better to study from the masters, like let's say, okay, in order to perfect it, to perfect this skill, because it's a skill, because there is no tube like the other, you know. They have like an imprint of the person who created this tube. So with this in mind, I have like a huge collection of digital Tatreez, let's say chest panels or side panels, or I want to share them with other people because it took me some time to produce, and I thought it's better that we preserve our thobes in this way.
Mm.
Okay. So this a small project, it's called the Taqa Tatreez Archive. Okay. It'll be launched very soon, like by the end of or mid-Feb, it'll be launched.
Oh,
And
inshallah, that's exciting.
yes, so Lina, if you want to create another maybe piece, you can refer to that collection, because what I did, actually, the idea behind that came because I wanted to do a replica of an old Palestinian tomb, an exact replica. Okay. Uh, the chest panel took me 6 months to complete. Imagine. Okay. So I thought it's a very like large endeavor. I can't do that because I have other things to do. But why not uh, give this digital, let's say, file for other people who want to replicate those tubes, you know? And because it's not easy from an image uh, copy the design. Okay,
Yeah.
but luckily we have very high resolutions of some of the tubes. Okay, in the British Museum archives. That's why I could like replicate those tubes,
Mm.
or not
Oh,
uh, digitize the patterns. So the
Mm.
patterns are there, and they're not only like faithful to the design, they're faithful also to the size. Okay, for example, the cross stitch is extremely small, you know.
Hmm.
Um, uh, yes, so I hope other people can make use of it and just reproduce those old taubes rather than bringing an old taube and just cutting it and repurposing, let's say, or um, it's good to relive this journey of the person who did this tattoos. And of course, definitely it took them so many like days and months to finish each project or each tube.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was going to ask, maybe you already answered my question. Where did you source the thobes or like the designs from these thobes? Is it but they were from pictures from the British Museum or you have like your own collection? How are you like where what was the original dress from?
I wished I had my own collection now.
We all do. Yeah.
But no, they're from high resolution pictures from uh, British Museum is the most prominent
Mm.
like provider, let's say, of those high resolution pictures. Otherwise, I'll be reaching out for other people, my friends, because so many Palestinians have like an heirloom, let's
Hmm.
dress, okay, that they want to make it live on, okay, by introducing it to other people. This is a means of doing that. So I'll be, let's say, open to accepting any, to digitizing any other thoughts that has been passed on through grandmothers by other people.
Wow, that's amazing. That is a huge endeavor, but I also feel like that's such a gift to not just the Tatreez community, but the Palestinian community. You know, we talk a lot about how so much of our history is not written, and it's always nice to have it done by Palestinians. I'm curious, like, as you're kind of, doing this work and getting deeper into your knowledge of Tatreez, how has that shaped or how has it changed your view on Tatreez as you've kind of learned more and more about Tatreez and, especially like experiencing and seeing these older dresses?
Yes, I came to know that they did not use a waste canvas like we're using now. They had very sharp eyesight
Yeah.
that the weave of the fabric was their guide. Like now, I find it very difficult, although when I do very fine tattoos, although I use waste canvas, but imagine they used to do tattoos on black, like obvious. The weave was obvious, like because it
Hmm.
was stitched, stitched in silk threads.
Hmm.
Okay. And you can see that, by the way, if you see the images, the high resolution images of the dresses, you can see the sheen of the
Mm.
silk. Okay. So, what was your question, by the way? How did it, how did it?
How did it change your relationship with Tatreez and your view of Tatreez as you've continued to learn more?
Yes, it did not actually change my view, but it expanded my knowledge about how Tatriz was done. Okay. And how it's a very genuine representation of the artistic view of the person who did it. Okay. So now when I see uh, taubes, let's say, done, new taubes done with Tatriz, I can see the difference between the taste, because I don't know, maybe not reference like people, but when you see new Tatriz done in a new design, you can feel the difference between old and new. And immediately know that yes, they had so much time on their hand. For example, my Tatriz, yes, the big cross stitch, it's because I cannot produce garments which are, uh, let's say, priced moderately. Okay, if I do the very fine Tatriz. So it has so many things to it. Yes, definitely, it changed the way I do Tatriz also, because actually, when I started doing Tatriz, I didn't even use the waste canvas. I invented the wheel then because I thought it's easier for me to see if you want, I can elaborate on that, tell you the way I used to do Tatriz at
Ooh,
first.
yes.
Now, what I did now, of course, when I used to be in school age, we used to use the waste canvas and the what's it called? It has not the waste canvas, the other one,
Marca?
marca.
Etamin?
Yeah,
Itamin,
I'm not.
vitamin.
Etamin.
that's it.
Okay, yeah.
Oh. So it used to be very straightforward, easy because usually itamin is light in color. It's easy to see. We were young, very
Hmm.
good. But when I started Taqa, I thought I wanted to do something very fine, and I cannot wait until you know I don't want to do the waste canvas. So what I did is printing the Tatreez pattern that I want to do on an infusible, water-soluble
Oh,
paper.
wow. Uh-huh.
Okay. And stick it to the backside of the not so impressive, but the results were impressive because it was so tedious and like laborious, you know, it took so
Yeah.
much to do. Okay, so I stuck it at um, the backside of the fabric.
Hmm.
Okay, and I used and had it on a hoop, okay, and stitched backwards. Like when I used to yes, I used to
Oh my
imagine
God.
the other side, and but the
I was gonna ask
so,
because if you put it
I
to the
tried.
backside, yeah, how did you
No,
follow the pattern?
because all what I wanted to do, like achieve on the other side, is the line slanted, let's say this
Yeah.
way,
Hmm.
going, for example, this way back all the time, and the line slanted this way, going on top all the time. It's just a way of thinking, okay?
Hmm.
Hmm.
But I tried, it worked. Okay, and I even trained some ladies to do this in this way, but I couldn't sustain it. I thought, no, it's better to go back to the waste canvas. Okay, but then I didn't do fine stitching, but I did experiment with Tatreez.
Introducing the drop that nobody asked for, Resolute RGL, the sneaker that takes centuries of Palestinian resistance and sells it back to you in leather. Co-founder Yossi Levin calls it empowerment. We call it exploitation. Same guy who once erased Palestinians from his projects in Haifa, now stitching Tatreez into a shoe to build his quote-unquote multi-million-dollar brand. They say it's bridging local and global. Translation: Palestinian women stitch, Europe profits, Israel wins. Limited edition, unlimited hypocrisy. Don't buy the hype, boycott Resolute RGL. This anti-ad was produced by Tatreez Talk. We stitch, we talk, we boycott.
I love that. That's really you rewired your brain in a way for Tatreez. I don't like waste canvas, so when you were saying you did something different, I was like listening. I'm like, okay, what did she do?
Try it. It's a nice thing, but when you do it on a big scale, okay, it gets difficult because you have to have it inside a hoop. When you remove it, put it, it loses
Hmm.
its sturdiness.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yes, and the other thing is that you cannot do, you have to do a single stitch, you know, or not a full, you have to put the needle in and then put the needle out.
Yeah, yeah,
Everything's perfect and, you know, no puckers or, you know, no puckering. Hmm.
yeah.
That is super creative. That's so interesting so how do you like waste canvas now? Are you okay with it?
Yes, actually very
Yeah.
therapeutic. I love
Yeah.
the reveal part, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just
that is everyone's
like,
favorite part.
yeah, yes, but luckily I haven't had any accidents with waste canvas because you might lose the whole piece when you
Mm.
like pull the waste canvas thread and it like tears maybe the fabric or it's a bit risky,
Yeah.
no?
With great risk comes great reward. This is this is
Absolutely.
Tatreez. That's amazing. Well, I'm curious, you kind of talked about it a little bit, but I'm curious about your design process because you are a designer by trade. So I'm
Yeah.
curious, like, how did you approach Tatreez in a fashion line when you were first starting, and how has that maybe changed over time as well? Like what is, and how do you also balance kind of that contemporary with the heritage and the traditional way of designing tatreez on things that you wear?
Yes. Now you mentioned designer. Yes, I consider myself a designer. So no matter what the medium is, I'm able to see things in like blocks of colors, lines, um, so when I apply my knowledge as a designer, I didn't start with the trees from scratch. So, so I applied my knowledge as I used to be I used to work in advertising, and I used to do a lot of graphic design as well. Okay. And I wanted to move away from advertising. So I chose fashion design as an outlet, like the first thing that I chose to move away from advertising. So the way I saw Tatriz was so satisfying for me as a designer because I could apply my design views to a 3D thing that can be worn and can have a persona. It's not on paper, not so, and it can be styled as well. So Tatriz is very easy to merge or to incorporate with contemporary items. But I wish that we had this conversation at the time when my experience or my this journey comes to a conclusion. I don't know if it will ever come, but honestly, with Da'a, it's still an ongoing experimentation of how can I incorporate, okay, this traditional thing that I want to keep intact, okay,
Mhm.
without like uh, uh, deforming it, let's say, okay, or putting my own input as Tatriz. Do it in a contemporary way, in a way that's not not a rival to the heritage, but something that adds to it, something that speaks the story of our present time, because we as Palestinians, okay, and I really love each and every single uh, um, uh, uh, like um experience in Tatriz done by any Palestinian, okay, because it tells the story of our present time. Now, unfortunately, or I don't know, fortunately or unfortunately, but the West rules now. So we have to have like the guy, what's guiding international fashion trends is the Western aesthetics. So I'm trying my best, to detach my thinking or detach myself from what's considered to be trendy now or nice when you wear it. I'm trying to do that and do something very minimal. Okay. It's just a journey, as I told you. I didn't yet reach the conclusion, but I will be reaching the conclusion when I have a brand that when you see this garment or this item, you know that it belongs to Ta'a. But I'm
Mm.
still like still on this road.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I guess also I'm curious, how do you hope kind of your customers feel when they wear these pieces? Do you share any, I guess, do you share a part of the journey of that specific piece with the customer so that they know, like, okay, this was inspired by a thobe from Jaffa, and here these colors are inspired by XYZ? Like, I'm curious about what is that customer experience as well, because your pieces are beautiful. I mean, I'm sure people like enjoy wearing them, but I bet you there's probably something even deeper happening too, because Tatriz is just so, I don't know. It does all the things. It does all the jobs.
Yes, great question, actually, because uh, when there is no story for the item becomes lifeless, okay, and you leave the person like interpreting what the story is. But unfortunately, in my case, and because of all my other things that I need to juggle, whether it's my kids, my life, my day job. So I didn't yet give each piece what it deserves from my attention, like telling the story that's behind this piece. I'm pretty sure when I wear a piece that has a story, I can see it in a total different light and I can relate to it. But what I wish my customers or the person who wears a garment from us feels, I wish they feel that they're wearing an art piece. It's not just something that looks nice, but it's something that um, conveys an artistic, like something artistic. It's not something conventional, you know. Yeah, and Palestinian, of course.
Yeah, no,
Of
absolutely.
course.
And it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be Tatreez. For example, my collaboration with Ahmed Al Khaldi last collection, we
Mhm.
really enjoyed it, but it came at a very difficult time. That uh, the collaboration was meant to be something very, happy, something that shows our this deep emotions that we have towards Palestine and the yearning that we have to Palestine and being there and connecting with the land physically. Okay.
Mhm.
But it came at a time when Gaza's, uh, like the war on Gaza started. Okay.
Mhm.
So it was difficult for me to navigate. Uh, and even up until now, uh, it, it was so difficult for me to launch the collection, and it even changed. But the idea of collaborating with other Palestinians, okay, and it doesn't have to be Tatreez, of course. It's just another way of expressing ourselves as Palestinians and what being outside of Palestine means, and how can we connect, because it's extremely important for us to do that, to connect with Palestine. We need it more than Palestine needs us.
Definitely, definitely. I think we all feel that very strongly. Um, and I love the way that you are, as somebody who's also an artist, obviously, I love the way that you are taking that and speaking on that through art. Because obviously to me, fashion, all of this is it's all art. Excuse me. So I know you mentioned a little bit earlier about your digitizing project, but
Mhm.
I'd love to dive in a little bit more on that because I'm personally very excited to hear about that journey, and I know many people who listen will be excited. So can you share a little bit more about this project and what you're hoping this project gives to the Tatriz community?
This season's hottest look, genocide. From the brand that brought you fast fashion comes fast track complicity. Zara just opened its largest ever store in Israel, 45 square meters of settler chic, while Gaza buries its dead. Their Israeli franchisee hosted far right minister Itamar Ben-Gvir, who calls for shooting civilians and expelling Palestinians. His review: beautiful clothes, beautiful Israelis. Our review: ugly politics. And yes, the jacket ad, mannequins shrouded like Palestinian bodies next to rubble. Zara called it a, quote, misunderstanding and kept cashing apartheid checks. Boycott Zara and all Indedex brands: Bershka, Massimo Dutti, Pull&Bear, Stradivarius, Oysho, Zara Home, because genocide is never in season. This anti-ad was produced by Tatreez Talk. We stitch, we talk, we boycott.
Yes, I'm hoping to like have this single taube, let's say, if I find a taube, okay, and I did, okay, to live on just not only the Tatris part, but the whole story, where that taube came from. if I got lucky with so many people, with some people like donating some high resolution pictures and accepting for their thobes to be accessible for other people as designs, I'd like to know the story of the thobe, and not only and that specifications of the thobe, you know, in order for us or for any other person, if he wants to replicate this tube, to be able to do it exactly, like the measurements, the everything about it, so that it lives on, because it's our treasure. It's very, for me, it's very like mystical, okay, knowing that each tube has its own story. I like this idea. And if this tube, because if this tube is digitized, it'll live forever, you know? This is what this, I hope I answered your question. Yeah, I did? Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, no, 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 definitely. I can definitely appreciate that. I love this idea also of if you're able to sharing those stories of those thobes. Um,
Mm.
do you have any of these thobes that you do have the story that you can share with any of our listeners?
Yes, actually, there is, but you need to see pictures, and I'm not prepared, unfortunately. But one of the taupes, uh, which I told you, I did the chest panel, and it took me 6 months to finish. Definitely not working the whole day, but the story, I don't have the story of the tube, unfortunately, because it's not owned by a person. It's owned by the museum, the British Museum. But I'll be sharing the dimensions of the tube, which cannot be, for example, for any other person. He cannot make out what are the dimensions of the tube if he wants to replicate it. But the thing is that it's not only the chest panel, it's the whole thing, chest panel, side panels, sleeves, everything. It's not something, if you some people might like to do it, to do a cushion with the same design. It's
Mhm.
not about replicating the whole thing. It's about like archiving the Tob by Palestinians, as you said. It's like an initiative that can be very, very big, to be quite honest.
Mhm.
If I want to include everything that's available online, and I want to accept like any tube that has been made prior 1940s, let's say, okay, and digitize it. But it can be done. That's why I'm calling it like a living collection, because I cannot do it all at once. It'll be like something that can be added on. Hopefully, it'll get big, but this is my aim, to make Palestinian tubes live on and not just be in closets and you know, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, I love that idea. I know for me, the reason that my thobe is so special to me is because I know the story of how it was made because I made it myself. And so one of the things that I'm working on or like trying to think about is how do I help people making a thobe document their story so that other people can then learn about it through that story and through seeing the thobe. So I really love that project and I'm excited to see it kind of come to life and stay in touch with it as well, because I think there's so many things that could come out of it, so many beautiful ways to connect for Palestinians to recreate and just to feel more connected exactly to Palestine, as you've said.
Mm.
Do you have any other things in the works for Taqa, like in terms of the physical collections, or is this kind of the primary focus right now?
Oh no, it's not the primary focus. Actually, I'm doing. I used that also to raise money for Gaza. Okay, so I know that I advertise that profit is 100%, but it's not only profits. All the proceeds, the gross of Taqa, all goes to Gaza. Now, and I've been approached by so many people wanting to do like auctions, for example, raising money, and they wish that I donate. So this is what I do now. Okay. For example, there is actually a silent auction that the Palestinian Children Relief Fund is doing in Illinois, I believe. I'll be participating with skirts, two embroidered skirts. Okay. And I'm waiting for Gaza, like, or for my, not, I don't want to say grief. I don't want to like put it all on Gaza, but honestly, just caused so much tension that I couldn't be, or I couldn't do creative work with Taqa anymore, you know? It's not that I paused it, but I'm not pressuring myself that I should produce something new. Okay. It comes when I feel that there's a need for me to, launch something new. And that might be soon, I don't know. But because I have so many other things, unfortunately, if I did this full time, I would have given you a better answer. But unfortunately, like I have other commitments as well.
No, no, absolutely. I 100% that resonates. It's been a really difficult over 2 years now, since the genocide started, and it's gonna be kind of lingering in our hearts until, things are improving on the ground. And that's very admirable of you for the work that you're doing and all that you're donating. So that's a lot. You're already doing a lot. It's not you 100% answered my question, and I love everything that you're doing. So thank you for sharing. And Abid, before we let you go, we always love to ask our guests one question, which is, what, if any, or like what if one, or it could be many, life lessons has Tatreez taught you? Um, yeah.
Tatreez was the reason I feel that I'm more Palestinian or I connect to Palestine, to be quite honest. If, let's say, we didn't have any heritage or any things that we can call Palestinian, okay, it'll be very difficult for me to connect with Palestine. Uh, it's just because I used to live in Australia, okay, and back then, uh, uh, I was more doing Tatreez all the time. So whenever I take my kids, for example, to the basketball practice, or I used to have my Tatreez on me. So people used to wonder, what are you doing? So it's a conversation also opener, or a conversation starter, let's say. Okay, and I would talk about Palestine through Tatreez. So Tatreez helped me connect to my roots, you know? Okay. And it's not only something that I really enjoy doing, it's so therapeutic. It's something that we need to preserve because the way that Palestinian heritage is undergoing theft, like uh, uh, bluntly, okay, we have to, if we can, do something about it. And this is the way I do, this is the way I react to this, you know?
We definitely understand that. And we really appreciate your time, your words, like the work that you're doing and sharing with the world. I know everyone's going to be really excited to see the next chapter. So thank you so, so much for joining us and sharing all of that. And if people want to learn more, where can they find you?
I'm only available online because I'm getting so many messages. Where can we I know I'm only available online, but I'm very responsive. If anybody wants to reach out, maybe not only customers. I want to work with other Palestinians out there. I don't know uh, um, you know, feel free to reach out. Anybody who likes to or has an idea that would like to collaborate or
Yeah.
work on something together, I am always open for collaborations and or to help any other brands, maybe, because so many Palestinian ladies that have this idea in mind that I want to start a Tatriz business.
Mhm.
It's very easy. If you want, I can help, definitely.
That's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful like offer. I love that. I love that attitude of collaboration too. So we'll definitely share your website and your social for people to find you and connect. Thank you so much, Abeer. We really appreciate your time.
Pleasure. Lovely talking to you, ladies, and hopefully we'll have another talk as well.
It was such a great conversation. Lena, you know this, but wait, we mentioned this. Did we mention this? Yes, we mentioned
What?
this. That you stitched and wore that
Oh yeah.
dress at
Yeah.
the retreat.
Hmm.
And like, I love that dress. And so many people were complimenting and kind of obsessed. And I love the creativity of the way she interpreted the design and made the stitches larger. It actually made the piece very interesting and very
Yeah.
modern. So,
Hmm.
doing really cool stuff with her brand. I love seeing it.
Yeah, the experimenting is so fun with Tatreez. It's kind of like with your photos, or like experimenting with different mediums. But there's also ways to experiment with the actual stitching itself. So I really loved that she had done that, and then she made it available. It was a free download, and I was able to just grab it. And if you wanted to make the exact dress as well, it's included the sewing pattern for that dress, which is really fun and introduces kind of other ways to engage with Tatreez. And you could wear it. That was the best part, is I could wear it. People could experience it while I was wearing it. Um, and yeah, I just love that. And I think we mentioned this after we stopped recording, but just the way that she was so open to collaboration was really beautiful. And I think we need so much more of that in the Tatreez world,
Hmm.
because there's so many things we could do with Tatreez, and it's better when we do it together. So I hope people, if you're listening, take her up on that offer. If you have an idea to collaborate with Taqa, check out her collections, check out the new archive that she's working on. By the time this airs, it might actually be live, so it may
Hmm.
actually be available for you to check out. So we'll make sure to include all of her contact and ways to follow in the show notes. And yeah, I love it. So,
Amazing.
yeah. So, thank you guys for listening to our episode of Tatreez Talk. We want to hear about your Tatreez journeys. So, share your stories with us at tatreeztalk@gmail.com, and we might just have you on an upcoming episode. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on your favorite listening platform, and be sure to leave a 5-star review. It helps other people find us as well. You can follow me at Linus Thob, Amani at Minamani, and of course, make sure to follow the pod at Tatreez Talk. We will talk to you soon.